Houston, this is Oscar Hines. Welcome to the Natural Nation Network. It is great to have you all joining us again. We have in the studio with us this wonderful energy. I've been absorbing it already. Good morning, Alexis. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. It's something with the weather right now. I went to run yesterday afternoon at lunch, and I've been on this high ever since yesterday afternoon. So
oh God,
I'm good.
You sure it's not Wellbeing Simplified that's in the house?
We haven't seen them.
It is Tracy and Heather here with us once again. I always enjoy these conversations because they are not only edifying and educating, but they are also quite uplifting. So I'm totally ready to be lifted to the next level. And we're going to be talking about something today that I love. This is a really good subject. So folks, those of you watching, you're going to want to share this. So we are in the final R today. And can you share with us what that's going to entail?
Well, we have 3 R's. Tracy, you want to review over those. But today, just to kind of whet your appetite, we're going to be talking about manifestation, which is right up of Oscar's alley with his ninja communication. I think that's my favorite new iteration of the word manifestation, ninja communication.
Wow, we could call it ninja manifestation.
Ninja
that would be
manifestation. I'll write that book.
Okay. Wow, that's your book. Okay. We'll have the Ninja series. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Part 2. I like
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book, by the way. I have to say that. I've just started it. I haven't gotten far into it, but it's just, it really speaks to my heart.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing it with everyone there.
Appreciate it. It's a labor of love. I really enjoyed it, and I've been enjoying talking about it, doing the seminar, so it's been a lot of fun.
It's the beginning.
And you know, there are so many different nuances to communication, and one of the biggest ones, I think, and this is a great segue, is how we communicate with ourselves, right? I mean, what is our self-talk on a regular basis?
Absolutely.
That is a huge one, because a lot of times, I guess, from the time we're in the womb, we're hearing our mother's voice and our father's voice, and whatever those things become true to us, we internalize it.
So it's the stories that we tell ourselves that create our reality. And what we don't realize is that we walk around all day long telling ourselves stories, many of which are not positive and uplifting, because we're hardwired to look for the negative. So it's a matter of bringing awareness. That's your first step to manifestation, is noticing. What am I thinking? Oh, there I go with that story again. And, you know, we're kind of boring because we often tell ourselves the same stories over and over and over. The same stories, you know, kind of like a 3-year-old that wants to hear the same bedtime story. We do it, you know, even as adults. And so that practicing of that story actually at an electromagnetic place attracts and creates that reality for us. And we'll delve into how that works a little bit later. But yeah, it is. It starts with just having that awareness of what are we telling ourselves.
Well, it's our comfort zone, you know, how sometimes people, and we all know and love people that are more comfortable being sick, it's comfortable for us to stay in that story, because it is scary to step out into the world, to write an amazing book. And step out into the world. It's a vulnerable place.
Yeah, and the good thing is that everything that you want or say you want is on the other side of that comfort zone, that fear, and that whatever you're facing, the comfort zone, getting beyond that and receiving, reinventing the art that you're going to get into, the new you say you want.
Right.
So there's that interesting quandary. Our brain is a survival mechanism position to help us or protect us, if you will. So anytime something's scary, we're going to have a pushback. Is that accurate?
Yeah, our amygdala takes a picture of it. And our amygdala is that piece of our brain that is our fight or flight. It's our stress part of our brain. And it takes a picture. And it says, okay, I'm going to watch for this picture again. And when it happens, I'm going to sound the alarm signals and we're going to run. And so it's constantly looking for anything that looks like that picture. And so if we're in the womb, as you say, I mean, our subconscious remembers those things. If we're 3 years old and we don't have a conscious memory of it, you know, in the work we do at Heights of Health, Tracy has a technique called MBR. and she can talk maybe a little bit about that. But with MBR, we talk about the fact that, you know, our conscious world, what we think we remember and know, is really about 1% of what we really know. You know, it's the tip of the iceberg, if you will. It's our subconscious is where the meat of where we are, our blueprint, where our operating instructions are, driving our behavior. It's that subconscious. So we've got to get to that subconscious, that piece of the iceberg that's deep below the surface, and rewind those stories that we tell ourselves, push play, and record a new story. And it's doable.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun part.
This is the big question. This is what everyone wants to know. How do I get past the tip of the iceberg that's just peeking out of the surface of the water, right? Because we all, as you say, it's not comfortable. We have to push past that. So what's the secret sauce?
Well, you know, I think the one that people, if we can kind of go back to, like, let's say the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, when some of this type of, this became more mainstream in our country. Now, y'all, people were talking about this in other places 5,000 years ago. You know, that there's an energetic field out there that exists physically, and that I have the power within myself to affect that energetic field that you're about to walk into. You know, it's quantum physics. And so this is ancient thinking, but, you know, we are coming around, and it's finally becoming mainstream, and we have scientists embracing this. So how is this? You know, if we go back to the 60s and 70s and the 80s, there was this idea of hypnosis. You know, we all think about, like, the little watch, you know, like in front of our face with the scary, you know, psychologist.
You are getting sleepy.
Yeah. You will rewire your subconscious and do something stupid on stage.
Yes.
But, you know, really hypnosis isn't woo-woo, and it's not magic, and there's really the idea of hypnosis is it's just one way to get into that tip of the iceberg, into the subconscious. I think that one of the more simple ways is visualization work.
Absolutely.
And, you know, there's this idea, let me go back to kind of my mainstream background, and from a behavioral standpoint, there's this age-old psychotherapy approach called cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. And the idea, if you think about a circle with CBT, you know, the idea is that our thoughts come first. And we've heard the adage, our thoughts create our reality, and it's true, because thoughts carry an energetic vibration. So that energetic vibration, that thought, is going to go around the circle, and it's going to cause us to feel a feeling. Okay, so my amygdala is firing, or my prefrontal cortex that's in control is firing, and it's a happy thought or it's a scary thought, and it's going to affect the way that I feel. Okay, there's my mind-body connection. So now I'm going to get the butterflies in my tummy. If it's a thought that says, this is dangerous, oh my gosh. I'm going to get the heart palpitations. Or maybe if I can just manage that thought, I get a sense of a feeling of relaxation. Maybe one we're not as comfortable with, but that takes practice. And not a lot of hard practice, but it's a practice and a purposeful practice. So our thoughts drive my feelings, and my feelings drive my behavior. Okay? So when I do any one of these parts of the wheel, I am projecting an electromagnetic energy out into the world that you're going to feel, and that literally has the power to change the world, atom by atom. Okay, because thoughts carry a vibration, emotions carry a vibration. Scientists can measure this now. And behavior, well, there you go. I mean, that's the physical stuff that we can sink our teeth into. We believe in that. You know, it's like if I punch you, you know, how are you going to feel? Right? I mean, my behavior, of course, is going to affect you. And my behavior, having this very conversation with my 8-year-old on the freeway today when we were on I-10 going 6 miles per hour, you know, and he was surely going to be late to school. It's like, you know, we can really be stressed about this with our behavior and create road rage. Or we can just turn up the radio and sing and just say, no one's going to die if we're tardy to school. It's all good. And so we practiced, you know, just controlling our thoughts, switching our emotions from a place of panic to peace. And therefore my driving was safer. My behavior changed. So that's the real simplistic kind of like mainstream way of talking about, I think, the genesis of visualization. Is cognitive behavior therapy. But fast forward, you know, modern visualization, Tracy, I want you to talk about something you're really expert in is the placebo effect. But I think the modern way to think about, not modern, but I think an even more powerful way to think about it is this idea of visualization. And there's scientists that have studied with brain imaging someone performing an act and someone visualizing performing that same act. Guess what happens in the brain?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
The same firing.
Yes.
Yeah, the same
out,
lighting
yes.
up of the same
Yes.
parts of the brain light up.
They've done it with working
Absolutely.
out.
It's the same.
People that are really good with visualization can visualize themselves lifting weights. Really, I mean, you have to be really
Really
skilled
good
at
at it.
this. Their muscle mass increases
Wow.
the same rate someone who's actually out there doing
Wow.
it. There are physiological changes that occur when it's not just the belief, it's the expectation that it's going to happen. And that's where actually, a perfect example of this is Michael Phelps. And I don't know if you all are aware, you probably
World-class
are.
swimmer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but of how he got there and what he attributes a lot of his success to, and that's visualization.
Yeah.
He would spend hours training and doing this visualization while he was swimming. And that created a trigger. Get in the pool, swim, that means I'm going to win. And so he has this down. I mean, he's got it. And it's a lot of other athletes are using it and probably have for years and years, but he's a perfect example of somebody who can, raise to that unbelievable level of success by incorporating visualization.
Yeah, because I think too it plays a huge role when you see yourself acting as if you're already that person. I told my health clients, as you just demonstrated, if you see her the way you want to be, what she's wearing, what she looks like, and you feel her, how she's feeling, what that feels like, then you act like her, and you start filling those roles as you're saying, and you really become her, like eventually, because the daily habits that you do when you do that every day, as you were saying, you become her, and that's what you're saying with the purposeful practice. Like that's so powerful. So yeah, absolutely.
Like it's a hard wiring of the reinvention.
Absolutely.
So it takes that practice of seeing her. Feeling
You gotta
her.
feel it, right?
There's a lot of
And when you're
scientists
so-
say that
yeah,
the
you-
feeling
yeah,
of
how does
winning,
it feel?
Even
feeling
the
of
smell, the sounds, everything.
Yeah.
Right? How's it going to
Senses.
sound when someone comes up to you and say, "Dang, you look great in that bikini"?
I've been seeing her. Yes, I do.
Yes, he
But
does.
you know what I love about what you're saying is that for every thought there is a physiological manifestation in the body that changes the body permanently. So it starts really giving us a sense that thoughts can really and truly become things.
Yes.
So this is good stuff. Folks, you are listening to Wellbeing Simplified. Go to wellbeingsimplified.com to learn more. We're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we want to start delving in a little bit deeper on how we start changing for 2018 and making those dreams a reality. The summer bikini?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And we are back. We are talking about the way to reinvent ourselves in this final R, and this is all about visualization and seeing where we want to be. This has been really good so far. I'm learning some stuff. So that means I never have to exercise again. I just have to think on lifting weights, and I'll have a six-pack.
That's it.
Okay.
Make
Good.
your heart
I
beat
like that.
faster too, so you get the cardio.
So let's not minimize it too much, because really that's advanced manifestation.
yes.
But I mean, there really is. We have the capacity that is so far beyond our limited thinking. Like we can visualize any reality we want. Okay, so let's bring it back down. Michael Phelps, really? So like what, like skinny ADHD kid, like what makes him, worthy of being the most celebrated gold medalist?
In history.
In history.
Yes.
Struggled through school.
Yes.
ADHD. We could probably just fill it in. Troubled, probably, borderline kicked out of school kind of thing. His parents were probably walking around thinking, prisons in the future. All of that stuff we do as parents, that somehow he rose above it with his own diligence, dedication, and manifestation. Part of that we know about people who have ADHD is that they have this uncanny ability to do a thing called hyperfocus. So he had a beautiful leg up. As much as we want to say that he had a disability, no, he probably had a leg up, because it's why people with ADHD whose brains seemingly are scattered all over, why is it they can sit for hours and do something that they're interested in? And that's hyperfocus, and he used it to create a legend. That brain, the power of his brain. And good for him, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
absolutely.
So Oprah Winfrey. Why Oprah Winfrey? You know, like with her, you know, she's one of my greatest favorite role models. You know, if you know anything about her dysfunctional background and upbringing.
Absolutely.
You know, why
Yeah.
she should have fill in the blank. But look at her. She's changing the world.
Yes.
You know, and with a
There
lot
is.
of money in her bank account.
So let me ask you, Heather, then, because some people listening might say, well, does that mean that I have to have had this pain
No,
or this
good-
dysfunction
no.
in order to reach this hyper-focused level?
No, those are just examples. I'm pointing out that if they can overcome the greatest of odds, then you can do it.
Yeah.
We can all do it. Whether you have your own odds, we all have odds. Whether you have your own odds that are as deep as Michael Phelps overcoming, you know, his ADHD, or Oprah Winfrey overcoming childhood abuse and poverty, whether you have that or not, you have the ability to create the reality you desire.
Absolutely.
It starts with believing that there's unbounded awareness. There's unbounded possibility. There's unbounded, I can't even wrap my head around the magic that's out there waiting for me in my life. Start there.
Yeah.
Like, that's real,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And that's why I bring those two examples up, because if they can, I can, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then the second piece is, and this is the piece that's the most concrete, that we really can do every day, and that's that focused intention.
Yeah.
And that's goal setting. You know, don't overwhelm yourself and feel like you have to go and make New Year's resolutions and write it down and track your progress and all those kinds of things. That overwhelms me personally. But it's this focused intention. And you can come up with 2 or 3 things that you want for your life and just make it your mantra. And one of my favorites is, I'm abundant in every area of my life.
Hey, I use that one too.
Do you use
yes,
that one?
absolutely.
But then
I do,
what
literally.
What does it mean to you?
So that
you
just
go
means
you go beyond that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I say I attract abundance in every area of my life, and that's just going spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, in every area. And when you speak to those things, you draw them. And with the, I think, reinventing yourself, I think there's 2 things that you really have to want. You have to want it bad enough and be patient during that process of wanting it. And so I think when you really work those 2 things, it's because, like, when you want it so bad, you're willing to work whatever process that is till you get it. And within that process, you're going to have those ups, downs, in betweens. But I want it so bad that I'm going to work through that, whether it's, you know, crying, whether it's getting up, whether it's laughing, whether it's working hard. There's so much in that process. But when you want it that bad, it will come.
Yeah, and it's that patience piece.
The patience piece.
Well, and
you
let
have
me-
to have that.
Yeah, let me add to that. That's beautiful. One of the things with creating these desires and trying to manifest things, your subconscious mind hears things a little bit differently. So if we say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to have that,
Yes.
that's out in the future.
Yes.
You know, that's not attainable. And your subconscious mind reads it as, okay, yeah, maybe in 90 years, you know, you're
Right.
going to. But if you say, I am, or I'm
That's
on the
it.
path to, or something, and I'm sure you can actually add to that because it has to do with your communication, ninja
Yes.
communicator, because that is communication with yourself. And so being
Absolutely.
mindful of how we talk to ourselves and the stories that we tell ourselves, like Heather's saying, have so much impact on our subconscious mind, which controls 95% of our decisions. We're ruled by our emotions and our limiting beliefs in our subconscious mind.
So that's an interesting nuance there. We're ruled by our emotions, because they talk about how manifestation, the language of the subconscious is feeling. It's a feeling language. So you have to get yourself in that state of feeling a certain way,
Yes.
right?
And that's so important with the visualization.
Yes.
That
Yes.
how does it feel?
So it's funny
Right.
because we just, the clinic where Tracy and I work, Heights of Health, we do a monthly newsletter. And the newsletter that we did this month is on heart health, being February. And so we just did a Wellbeing Simplified, and I think it's already on our website.
It's on, yeah.
But it's a heart meditation. And it's 6 minutes long, and it capitalizes on what you just said, Oscar, that power of the feeling. It's the last step in the meditation is to move into a feeling space. And by sinking in, even just for a few seconds, to really feeling gratitude, let's say, which is one of the highest vibration emotions, you literally shoot out rockets, as to use Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction people, to use their language. You're launching rockets of desire that says, come back to me, gratitude. Come back to me, goodness. And it's like we're little magnets, because our heart, emits these electromagnetic fields, which the ancient people used to talk about and believed in without having to prove it with instruments, but we can now prove it with instruments. That our brain, our second brain, our heart, or our third brain, some people call the gut the second brain,
Yeah.
but our heart, it has its own brain. We've talked about this in several segments. We'll keep coming back to it, because you've got to hear it over and over to really get it. That our heart, neurocardiologists have shown that our heart has its own nervous system and 40,000 neurons, and is 60 times more electrical in its power than our brain, up here, this brain, and 5,000 times more magnetic than our cranial brain. And so when we can purposefully feel what it feels like to be her, to look like her, to feel like her, to have the wealth, to fill in your focused intention blank. Remember, we talked about those intentions. Set your intentions, and then visualize, and then feel. It's one thing to see myself that way. It's the other thing to feel myself that way. And that's when you get the power of actually attracting, like, whoa, that was coincidence, not.
Yeah,
That was
not,
coincidence,
yeah.
not. Why did that person call me? I was just thinking about that particular topic. Not a coincidence. You're practicing the power of manifestation every time those coincidences seemingly happen.
So that brings us to one of my favorite topics, because it's more of a physiological base. Not that I love the connection here, and that's the placebo or nocebo effect.
Nocebo.
Nocebo. Yes.
That's different.
I know. Well, I'll start with the placebo, an interesting study. So scientists took 260 IBS patients. So if you've ever known anyone with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, it's incredibly painful.
Yes.
Incredibly painful and uncomfortable, and it can rule your life, because you never know if you can leave the house or not, where you can go. They took 260, divided them into 3 groups. One group they gave nothing to. One group they gave dummy acupuncture. Not that acupuncture is dummy, it just wasn't real acupuncture.
Yeah.
So they had little guns that would shoot the needles in, but they didn't really shoot the needles in. They just thought they were. And then they had a group that the practitioner came in, the acupuncturist, and was very loving and compassionate, and also did the dummy acupuncture. So the group that had the dummy acupuncture but without the compassionate practitioner had a 46% improvement in symptoms, and the group that had the compassionate practitioner had 66%.
Even though it wasn't
improvement.
really...
And it wasn't. All it was the love. And so this translates into how we talk to ourselves, our
Absolutely.
self-love, surrounding ourselves with people who are loving and supporting. It helps us with heal. It helps us heal. And they've
Absolutely.
measured Parkinson's disease is a perfect one. They have measured increase in dopamine levels. So Parkinson's is a disease where they have not enough dopamine in the brain. Actually, physiological changes and increases in dopamine levels when these patients were taking placebos, which are sugar pills. They have no medicine in them, but they believed it. And there was an expectation that the dopamine levels would go up. So you've got to have that expectation. The kinder and more compassionate the practitioner is, the more effect.
Wow.
And
That's
that's
amazing.
that heart piece.
Yes.
We
Wow.
talked about when you hold a crying baby, if you approach that baby with a heart that's calm yourself,
Right.
you're going to quelch the storm there, or you can create a tsunami. with your own heart energy. But
That's
that
true.
love is literally a physiological electromagnetic transference of healing.
Absolutely. And the nocebo is the opposite,
Yeah.
and it's proven.
Most of us do
If
that.
if you have the expectation that something will not work out, or the negative expectation, it more than likely will happen. My daughter always says that. Don't think it, don't focus on it. Whatever you focus on grows.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
say that all the time. It's
Yes.
true. It's that
Wow.
spaghetti spot.
Definitely
for
say
sure.
that.
Good stuff, folks. You are listening to Wellbeing Simplified. To find out more, go to wellbeingsimplified.com or give Dr. Tracy and Heather a call at 713-861-6777. That's 713-861-6777. And we are back. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network. We have been talking about Well-Being Simplified with Dr. Tracy and Heather Goodwin. It has been an amazing conversation so far, and we're going to have another participant, I understand, join us in this lifestyle conversation. So, Alexis, who do we have on tap?
Yes, her name's Britt Tafoya. She is a personal lifestyle health coach as well, and she specializes in weight loss as far as women, and she really deals with lifestyle habit change and changing women's everyday habits to make them become who they are. She is a mother of three, two twins actually that are 7 right now, and she just transitioned from California to Colorado, and so it's all about reinventing yourself, which is what we're talking about as well, and what comes along with that. Brittany, are you here?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to explain more about what you do?
Hi, so I'm Britt Tafoya, and my business is Britt Loves Fitness, and I help women transform their habits and adapt their lifestyle to living healthy and being able to be consistent with the lifestyle change that they're making. I think a lot of times we kind of just get our head so committed to living this lifestyle that we've never lived before, and it becomes too much, and people fall off the wagon. So what I do is really just help them create a flowhesive kind of lifestyle change where they're able to actually see their results and keep them.
Love that. Flowhesive.
Flowhesive, right? I'm going to use that, Britt.
Did you trademark that word? Great.
That's my word now.
So, wow, I see you copywriting that thing. Britt. Hey, so Brittany, when people start out in life, they always have, I should say at the beginning of the year, they always have noble goals, and then you just mentioned them falling off. We were just talking about the visualization piece in the first part of our show. So now, dietarily, are there certain foods that they need to avoid to prevent being sort of re-addicted to and then falling off the wagon? How does that work in your world?
Well, obviously there's going to be foods that are going to create different metabolic responses in the body, but my main focus is allowing the person to be who they are. I think if you love pasta, I don't think you should say, I can never have pasta again. I think instead it's really about learning the amount you should have, where you should place it for your energy level so you're able to utilize it. I really don't like to take anything away, but instead show them how to stay being who they are, but at the same time getting the results that they want. So if you love sugar, well then let's have sugar on an off day instead. And then that way you're able to shock the body and help it not adapt to eating at a lower calorie intake. And that way they're still enjoying their life and being who they are.
So let me ask you, Tracy, we have a naturopath that we're talking to in-house. There's some foods that do have this addictive quality, and based on what Britt is saying, that you could sort of take those on off days. I mean, is a little bit of heroin okay? I'm just kidding, Britt. No, you got to know. So what do we do?
gotta know us.
I actually totally agree with Britt on this. Hi, Britt. Thanks for being
Hi.
on. I totally agree with her, and it's the concept of if we don't get out of our comfort zone, if we don't do anything to change our routine up, we become complacent and we become adapted to that environment, and our body cannot experience new things, and the body cannot make changes. So we need to get out of our, I'm not saying to go out and do heroin or even eat sugar very much, but it's okay.
Yes.
There was a many years ago, a yogi who always said you need to go, and I'm not advocating this, but he said you need to go and have McDonald's once a month just so that your body, if you have to, if you get into a place and that's the only thing there is to eat, you will survive.
You'll survive.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
like a
categorically
vaccine.
reject it.
Right. You have the immunity.
But like, so there's certain things, and Brittany, back to what you were saying there, there's certain things like I just absolutely won't eat. Like, so I decided pork is one of them, right?
Absolutely.
Because I remember I stopped eating pork for a month. This was many moons ago, and I felt amazing. And then I tried it.
Yeah,
and then I
that's
had
what
like
he said,
these
right.
stomach cramps, and it was debilitating. So can we put some foods on the X list, or is it just a free for all? What are we thinking with that?
Well, it's definitely not a free-for-all. All of our bodies have different responses to different foods, and someone may be lactose intolerant, and when they have dairy, they notice that they get bloated. So that person isn't going to want to have dairy. But
Right.
everyone is very different, and it's very important that we don't give a list of foods to just stay away from to people, because that scares them and it makes them feel like they're incapable. And when you make someone feel incapable, then it changes the dynamic of what this is supposed to be. And this is supposed to be a transformation process that not only makes you better, but strengthens you, empowers you, and helps you move forward into changing your lifestyle for the long term. So I think it's really important that we really dial into that specific person, their specific needs. There are trigger foods that I do really kind of help people watch out for and learn how to navigate around them. And a trigger food is a food that maybe when you have this food, you have no control. And that would kind of be like the heroin.
Yeah, like heroin.
You don't want to, have that thing. But like you said, you made a very interesting kind of example by bringing up a drug. Food can be a
Absolutely.
drug, but the thing is that food is around us every single day. And if you're trying to stay away from heroin, then it's a lot easier to stay away from that than it is to stay away from food. And so people will feel jailed by just food, like food around them, feeling like they're in this box. They're incapable of living their lives because they're trying to make a change, and they start feeling powerless. And when you feel powerless, you cannot make a long-lasting change.
Interesting.
That is true.
Yeah.
And see, I just think too, like the one thing that you're saying is when you are reinventing yourself and you're becoming more aware of your body and the state that it's in, especially when you're eating. I know with dealing with different women, it's knowing that those cravings mean something, like they're real, they're valid, and it's switching that pleasure chemical instead of going to grab that the sugar or something, switch that and grab a apple or something like that, different things. But the cravings that you have, men or women, they're valid, and it's a signal to start paying attention to your body and what it's really asking for. Underneath that, what is it really asking for?
I agree. Yes, definitely.
So Heather, what are some of the emotional ways that you can recondition or reposition yourself to eat better?
Well, let's start first with behavioral. I mean, it's habit, and habits are it's the attitude we bring to habits. It's all about those baby steps, and it's the idea that, like, let's take sugar in food. When we tell ourselves, "I can't," tapping into that now I've squelched my pleasure principle.
Right.
You know, and my dopamine just kind of went, you know, which is my motivating chemical. If we tell ourselves, I can, and we just push it off just a little bit out into the near future, I can have some sugar, and we push it out just a little bit farther on Saturdays,
Right.
or tomorrow, or at dinner, you know, instead of right at this very moment, we are flexing our habit muscles to become stronger and stronger so that the cravings, if we do this for a month, all of a sudden aren't there. Because we've pushed our delay for gratification.
Yes.
We've delayed gratification just a little bit more, and we've pushed that behavioral and that habitual response out just a little bit more. We've got a new habit. And that new habit is, I've got control.
Yeah.
And I can have it, and I do have control over it. And so we let ourselves, I agree with Britt, I agree with Tracy, it's about balance. I don't believe in deprivation, because eventually you're not going to want it. And so you are going to deprive yourself, but without that dopamine crashing, saying, oh, you know, I can't have sugar for the rest of my life, and now I'm in a depression.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I can have it, and for this very moment, I'm going to take a big spoonful of nut butter instead, and then, you know, maybe just in a couple hours I can have it. And we just keep pushing that habit envelope out, and we have a new habit. So
Wow.
it's thoughts, too.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Folks, you're listening to the Natural Nation Network here on Synergy Radio. We are speaking with Britt Tafoya and Tracy and Heather here in studio. I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, I'll compose myself. My goodness. And we're going to continue this conversation about how we change our eating habits. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. So, hey, Britt, we were just talking about 420, and we understand that you are in Colorado.
I am in Colorado, yes.
Yay!
Wow. So
Right.
how do you keep your clients from like wanting to eat Cheetos and stuff?
We're jealous.
Honestly, the people that are having fun with the brownies and all, they're probably not my clients. So.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I see. So in terms of the sort of the core of your program, you're not talking complete deprivation, which it sounds like our experts in studio agree with you on. What are some of the other tenets to the program that help get people balanced and online?
Well, the way are you speaking in terms of my healthy, simple diet?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the way that it's structured, it's really kind of made for the everyday woman that is busy and has cravings. And so I actually created it after coming off of doing like bikini competitions, which is a very strict regimen to live in and day out. And I noticed that I needed other things. I needed flexibility, and, you know, I was just tired of not eating what I wanted to eat. So I structured a meal system where you're pouring nutrients into your body, and it's convenient, and it's based on the foods that you like. So I teach people, you know, if you're starting your day off in the morning and you don't have time for breakfast, you know, start off with a smoothie, but let's not start off with a jam-packed, sugar, you know, filled smoothie. Let's, you know, focus on fiber. Let's focus on vegetables, protein, and just really nutrient-rich foods so you can have energy and feel good. And that's going to help, you know, delay your hunger cravings for later. And, you know, later on in the day, I have things structured where they are having the carbs that they want. Because let's just face it, I mean, when we come home from work, our busy days, we really just want a really good meal. We don't want to be thinking about, oh my gosh, I can't have that, I can't have this, and you're cooking a whole different meal for your family. So I've noticed that when women have started HSD, that their families actually start, you know, utilizing the structure as well, because it's so effortless, and, you know, there's not a strict regimen, and instead they're showing their family how to nourish their bodies, how to pour those nutrients in, and how you really don't have to stay away from a ton of foods. I mean, obviously processed foods, we want to, you know, decrease that intake, but for dinner, which is a meal that we always have usually with our families, you know, you're able to have your carbs, you're able to have your protein, some fats, and, you know, get all that nourishment in a balanced way.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So, you know, as you mentioned the processed foods, and this is one of the bones of contention for me, I think, unfortunately, we have this proliferation of packaged, processed, convenient foods. They last forever. We've heard the 30-year Twinkie and all of that. So,
I know.
so, Dr. Tracy, when you talk about someone who has maybe some of these toxins, what should they be doing to rid themselves of these?
Well, I'm sure Britt would agree with this. If you are overloaded, simply sometimes changing your diet, eating more fruits and vegetables, drinking more water alone is going to start the detox process.
Yes.
And eliminating most of those processed foods. But there are other things that you can do as well at the same time, like breath work that Heather has talked about, because you release a lot of toxins through your lungs. Dry skin brushing. If you've ever heard of that, you can use a natural bristle brush and you brush towards the heart. There are lots of videos on YouTube about it. Gets that outer layer of dead skin cells and toxins off before you shower. Can be incredibly helpful for stimulating the lymphatic system and circulation, and it makes your skin glow too.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be great. Epsom salt baths, one of my favorites, because Epsom salts not only infuse your body with magnesium, which women in particular tend to be deficient in. Magnesium is a stress mineral, so we burn it up really quickly. It infuses magnesium into the body, but it also helps pull toxins out. Those are some easy kind of at-home and hydration.
You also have the foot detox that they offer at their clinic, you guys, and you can go on my Instagram and you can definitely see me there. But it definitely, and you feel the difference within your body, even when you're sitting there, the toxins that come out and the different changes in the watercolor. So that's you can explain more what that really does, because it definitely helped me that day.
Yeah, it's ionized water. You put your feet into a warm bath, and it actually pulls toxins out through the bath water, and it turns really nice.
Go check the video out. I'll repost that for you guys.
In that case, we'll throw the baby and the bathwater out.
Exactly. I mean, you can't get your feet out fast enough when it's over, but
You feel
it really is. I mean, I've had people come in and say, my back pain's gone. After Harvey, I had severe pains from my knees down from walking in the floodwater. You know, they told us to wear stuff and not get the floodwater, but life is life, and you end up going in there. And every night it was keeping me awake. I did one foot bath. The pain went away and never came back. And it was the stinkiest, grossest foot bath I've ever seen.
Wow. Well, you know, I've heard stories because after 9/11, there was so many toxins that the firemen went into infrared saunas, and they were sweating in like blue, like it was literally just toxic. So Britt, with the remaining time we have, the foods that detox, what are some of those? What are some of the ones you're recommending for just eating that would help detox the body?
Well, you know what? When you're putting plant-based foods into your body, it is going to naturally detox. You know, I know we see like so many fancy detoxes, but a lot of times it's really just nourishing our bodies and bringing it back to balance, and you'll start seeing everything just working optimally. And it's really good to, like one of them were mentioning about like the Epsom salt bath, that putting that magnesium in your body needs magnesium. A lot of chocolate cravings are because of
that's right. Absolutely.
And so we really just have to get that body back into balance. So it's not a specific food, but it's just all of those plant-based foods. Like, for sure, lemon is a good way of just helping your body kind of diuretically pull out toxins. You know, increasing those green leafy vegetables is going to increase the fiber in your body, which is going to help you start detoxing excess estrogen. There's just so many things that just eating natural foods can do for you. And so what I always like to do with my clients is have them start with all of the healthy foods that they absolutely love. And that way they're enjoying what they're doing, but at the same time, they're balancing out their body by just pouring in nutrients.
Yes, very good. Excellent, excellent. So we really have here a pretty well-rounded conversation in terms of both the mind and the body, and how we bring it all together to really balance ourselves out. And this is really good information. So, folks, I want to encourage you to share this. So, Britt, how do folks connect to you?
Well, you can definitely connect to me on Instagram at Britt Loves Fitness. I'm always over there answering DMs, and I really just like to create an environment. Well, if someone has a question, they can ask me it. I don't like to seem like I'm far away, and so that way, if you have a question, just DM me and get an answer. I really just like to make myself available in any way possible, and obviously, you can. Also check me out at BrittLovesFitness.com and, get your copy of the Healthy Simple Diet. And you can just start your weight loss journey today. It's completely free. I make it available to anyone that wants to transform their lifestyle, because I believe that women need to just have that knowledge available and not have to make so many decisions to get started. And so I like to take away that layer of, hey, how do I get started? No, you start right here, click, and get started today. Start loving on that body, start transforming your mind, and begin a new you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the great information.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Dr. Tracy, Heather, what are some takeaways based on what we've been talking about here on the projection of transformation? Because we've talked nicely about the physical transformation, the emotional. What are a few takeaways you can leave us with?
It's about a gestalt. It's about a whole process that's based on simple, small steps every day, every hour. And if we can say every hour, I begin new right now. The past is history. What we have is the present moment. This hour, I'm going to drink more water. And maybe if I just hydrate half my body weight in ounces, and I make that happen starting this hour throughout the rest of this day, maybe I won't think I'm as hungry as I am in my thought process.
Yeah.
And then maybe I catch myself with my thoughts. Okay, we get the manifestation piece. And I say, oh, there's the thought that right now I need that piece of sugar. Maybe if I just take a swig of water and a spoonful of nut butter, maybe I don't need that sugar, but I can if I still need it after that. And I'm going to sit for a minute, and I'm going to do 4 belly breaths. And I'm going to say, I'm here. I've got this. It's all about putting it together with the mind, the body, and with a reinvention of what we want our lives to be. And we can all have that life.
Yes.
We can.
Yes, well said. Wow. So, folks, you've been listening to the Natural Nation Network here on Synergy Radio. To connect with Wellbeing Simplified, give them a call directly at 713-861-6777. Again, that's 713-861-6777. They are also, these wonderful ladies, available to come out to do lectures, to speak to your groups. We want to invite you to do that. They've had some amazing events we didn't get to chat about.
We've got one coming up.
You've got one. Tell us when that is quickly, please.
10th and 11th of this month. So you can call our office or go to wellbeingsimplified.com and message us. And we're going to have an intensive 2-day workshop in person. It's going to be fantastic because it's hands-on. It's a small group of women and men.
Yes.
Hands-on. We're going to teach you these techniques, give you lots of information. A great group of people. I'm
Easy
sure
and
of
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of fun.
accessible. You're going to walk away with so many tools and so much knowledge.
Wow. So, folks, you heard it here. Share that information. Call them at 713-861-6777. Wellbeingsimplified.com. Thank you, ladies, for this amazing conversation.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a few weeks. Thank you so much.